Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good, guys. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for asking. Coach, do you feel like in looking back, I know you always want balance, that you guys tried to run it too much last night versus letting Dak, with what seemed to be working very well, throw to win the game more than you did?
Oh, well, we threw it nearly 50 times in the ball game, so obviously we threw it a lot. I do think it's important when you play against a team like that is not to allow them just to pin their ears back and go rush the passer. So trying to keep them, somewhat honest up front by continuing to try to run the football, I think is important to do. But again, obviously, you guys watched it. The passing game took over for us and allowed us to drive the ball, really consistently well towards the end of it, and we did throw it a lot. I think we threw it 47 times. So,
Yeah.
You want to have balance, but when you get in a game like that where they're hell bent on stopping the run, I do think you have to move to the passing game, and we're able to do that. I think Dak threw for almost 400 yards. So, you have to do that in a ball game like that.
So, 46 attempts for 397. So, on first down, you guys ran it 16 times for 39 yards. You passed 14 times. I know you want overall balance, but why keep running it on first when throughout the entire game it didn't work?
Yeah, again, you can go back and look at that kind of stuff over and over and over again, and we'll evaluate that as a staff. Again, you try to be a balanced offense. You try to attack different ways. Again, we got to the passing game a lot in the ball game. Again, 46 attempts is a high number for us, and almost 400 yards passing is a pretty good number in this league. So, we're able to do that. Dak made some big-time throws. The receivers made some big-time catches. So that was a big part of the game and why we were able to score the points we did. Jason
Garrett here on The Fan. I know you got to 46, but could I argue, hey, in order to win this game, get to 50, 55. You're not capping yourself at 46 throws. You could look back and say, hey, the way to win this game was to throw it even more. Could you agree with that?
Yeah, again, we'll go back and look at everything on our team about what we could have done better to win the ball game. They're a good football team. They're good on offense. They're good on defense. They're good in the kicking game, and it was a hard-fought game. And, 9 possessions for each of us. Every possession was critical. Every play within those possessions was critical. We did a great job giving ourselves a really good chance to win the ball game at the end, 28-24. We're knocking on the door on the 10-yard line, and unfortunately we weren't able to get it in there. So, you go back and you look at it, you try to evaluate it, you learn from it, and you move forward. The passing game was a big part of what we did. Like you said, 46 attempts for nearly 400 yards. That's a productive day throwing the ball. Dak did a really good job. I thought our guys did a good job protecting up front against a really good defensive front, and at the same time the receivers were awfully good making plays on the other end of it. So that's a big part of how we need to play, and I thought our guys did a good job doing that.
Coach, what was the thought process on that final drive on the second and third down before the Zeke incompletion? What were you guys thinking, or what did you guys see that kind of led to the second and third down calls at the end?
Yeah, again, Kellen's calling the game, and in that situation, it's 2nd and 2 when he felt like he had a good opportunity against a favorable box to run the ball in those situations. And on each of those plays, we had options beyond just the run, and unfortunately, we weren't able to convert, and we got into that 4th down situation and didn't convert that. So, obviously, you want to continue that drive. You want to go score a touchdown there. Unfortunately, we didn't get it done.
Red Ball, not that you're going to reveal the infrastructure of how RPOs and read options are called specifically, but generally, on those 2 plays, 2nd down and 3rd down, the quarterback has choices built into the play call, correct?
On both those plays, he did, yes.
Okay. When you guys sit down, do you say, well, maybe that was part me, Red Ball on Wednesday. Maybe that was part the offensive coordinator calling the play, and maybe that's part Dak, who obviously had a brilliant game, but maybe Dak contributed to a bad decision on 2nd down or 3rd down.
Yeah, again, that's the way we evaluate everything. We'll go in today, win, lose, or draw, and you say, okay, what was good about the game? Okay, let's continue to build on that. What were areas that we as coaches need to do a better job? Maybe we didn't communicate it well enough. Maybe we didn't practice it well enough. Maybe, it just wasn't executed. And I'm not talking about those specific plays, but That's generally how you approach it. And, unfortunately, we didn't convert in that situation. We gave ourselves a great chance. at the end of the ball game and didn't get the job done. So, we learn from it and we move on.
Jason Garrett here on The Fan. How much of that final possession did you guys have clock management of melting it away? How concerned were you with leaving Minnesota with very little time? And how do you weigh that versus, hey, let's make sure we get in the end zone first?
Yeah, it's always first things first. You want to take care of the drive. You want to go ahead and score the touchdown in that situation. That's by far the number one priority. But, we had time and we had timeouts. And so you just operate as we operated. And obviously we moved the ball down the field and felt good about how we were operating that situation. And, unfortunately, as we got closer, we weren't able to get in. Because we kept the timeouts, we gave ourselves a chance at the end of the ball game after the defense made a stop. And, unfortunately, we didn't get that one done either. So, again, a hard-fought game against two good teams battled for 60 minutes, and unfortunately we came up short.
Jason Garrett on the BuyerSafety.com hotline here on 105.3 The Fan. So without giving away too much detail, with Kellen calling the plays and you're offensively savvy with your history, is your role on game day, Coach? Do you often say, hey, let's run it here, hey, let's throw it here, hey, let's stay with this? Is that kind of your impact with Kellen actually calling the plays with all of your expertise and experience?
Yeah, we just try to communicate as an offensive staff, throughout the ball game, and Kellen has done a great job for us all year long, and I certainly have input, throughout the ball game. Situationally, I have input about how to handle certain situations, and that's how we've operated all year long, and that's how we operated last night, and unfortunately, we didn't get it done.
You have fun, Jason, talking about, hey, we're all day to day. And we're all a work in progress, and we joke around about it. How much is Kellen Moore, in his first year of doing this, a work in progress, learning on the job?
Yeah, Kellen's done an excellent job for us. He really has. Our offense has been pretty darn good all year long. Certainly we can be better in every area. We can run it better. We can throw it better. We can handle situations better. That's every one of us. That's every coach. That's every player. But Kellen's done a really nice job for us. He'll continue to learn and grow as he goes with more experience, but he's certainly done an outstanding job through the first part of the season.
Coach, did you guys instruct Tavon Austin to fair catch the punt at the end?
That's a situation where there's a lot of different scenarios in that situation, and there's a school of thought this is absolutely fair catch in that situation, so you don't bleed the clock, and you give your offense a chance at midfield to go score a touchdown, and then if the returner he has that in his mind and he has an opportunity to go make a play, we certainly encourage him to do that. So in that situation, he fair caught it. And again, we'll evaluate that based on the situation versus exactly what happened on the particular play, as to how to handle that better in the future.
So that was more of a player choice. You didn't say no matter what.
Well, you lay out the situation. Let's not waste a lot of time. If you don't have a real good opportunity here to go make a return directly north and south, don't waste a lot of time. And in that situation, the way he saw it, he went ahead and made the fair catch and, gave us the opportunity around midfield. But, in hindsight, when you look at it, there might have been opportunity for him not to do that and to kind of hit it north and south and see if we could make some yards on it.
Jason, on a personal level, if you don't mind, you took me on the loading dock 25 years ago and taught me I only concern myself with things that are within my control. And I really have. No kidding around. I use that. I use that with my kids.
Should have shoved you off the dock.
But when you go home after a game like this, your peaceful philosophy aside, do you go and immediately watch tape of what happened? Do you turn on the TV? Do you hug your wife? Do you watch a movie? Do you want to punch a hole in the sheetrock? What?
Typically on a home game like that, we have some people in town, so you spend a little time with them. I did not watch the tape last night. Usually on road games, I watch most of the tape on the flight home. And, by the time I get into Monday morning, I've seen most of the ball game and graded most of the ball game. On home games, sometimes you don't do that, so you get in here early and you work your way through it. So, spend time with family. You think about the game, you think about the different situations that came up and how we can do things better. and you try to get away from it for a little bit, but then you're right back into it.
Coach, how do you weigh Maher's long-distance ability with what many coaches would view as a turnover at midfield if you miss that early 57-yarder, and how did it impact your future decisions with Maher?
Yeah, again, he's made so many big kicks for us, so many long kicks in our stadium, so we felt like we'd give him an opportunity there. And unfortunately it didn't work out, and in that situation you gotta handle it. Defensively, you got to go make a stop. But we felt like we did a pretty decent job driving the ball, made a couple 3 first downs, got ourselves out there into favorable territory across their 40-yard line. We took a shot at it because his track record has been pretty good on those kicks. And I think we got into a situation where the ball was a little farther out, maybe a yard or two deeper later in the ball game, and we decided to punt and trap them down in there. So, I don't know that one weighed heavily into the next decision, but we just felt like that was the best thing for our team to do at that time.
Coach, obviously, Cook is a fantastic running back on the other side, but it looked like they beat you guys up in terms of physicality. What were some of the issues in the game before watching the tape again that you saw with the run D?
Well, again, I thought we did a good job defending the run at the outset of the game. At halftime, he did not have a lot of yards. The way he beat us early on in the game with a screen game, and that's been a big part of what they do offensively. In the second half of the game, particularly in the third quarter, they got the running game going, and it's a combination of things. I thought they did a good job at the point of attack blocking, a good job on the backside, and both those runners really ran the ball well. And he's the leading rusher in the NFL, so we had great respect for them as a running team going into the ball game. And again, I thought for the early part of the game we did a pretty decent job, but certainly not good enough as the game wore on.
Did Jeff Heath get banged up, or was Darian Thompson in the game more so for just a change up there that you wanted to get Thompson some more looks over Heath?
Yeah, Jeff was banged up. He tried to get through practice this week and play. He had issues with both his knees and both his shoulders, and so once we got into the ball game, we didn't feel like he could play on defense. So Darian went in there. Jeff actually continued to play on special teams because we needed him in that role, but we just felt like Darian gave us a better shot because of Jeff's health.
Coach, not that this overcomes some of the negatives here, but can you think of a game where there was more spectacular catches? Contested, guys getting bashed while they catch it, falling down backwards, one-handed, tiptoe. It was spectacular in that way.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. And I thought our passing game was really good, and something we leaned on in the ball game because of their ability to, or their intent on stopping the run. And I thought Dak made some big time throws, and those receivers made some unbelievable plays. And time and time again, there wasn't a lot of plays to fit the ball in there. He fit it in there, and those guys made great plays, contested plays, plays on the sidelines, time and time again. So they did a hell of a job, and it was a hell of a football game. It really was. Back and forth. They went ahead early. We came back, tied it. They went ahead. We went ahead, and then ultimately they went ahead, and we couldn't convert those last opportunities. And give them credit. They're a good football team, but I thought our guys battled hard. They battled tough. Made a number of plays in the ball game. So we'll learn from it, and we'll move forward.
Jason, thank you for the time. Happy Veterans Day. I know is a big deal on your mind as well, as the Cowboys do everything that they can. Anything you'd like to say to those listening on a very special day?
Yeah, just thank you for your service. Our country is what it is because of the sacrifices that our veterans have made, and we're very grateful and very appreciative.
Coach, thank you for answering all the tough questions in your time. Have a good day and a great week.
Okay, guys, take care. Have a great week.